4, 3, 2, 1. John Miglosh for the International Society for Strategic Marketing and the WDMA. I hope you caught yesterday's about the how marketing can help cut healthcare costs in the U.S. by 75%. And, you know, the Marxists don't understand the value of advertising and marketing in the efficiency of a market. It's really fantastic. So I'm going to post it on Twitter and LinkedIn as a separate piece, and maybe I'll expand on it in an article. Because it's really a message that we've lost. And if you've read Das Kapital, which I encourage you to do, because as economics go, it's pretty dumb. And when you take a dumb economics and apply it to a whole country or many countries, you can see why it wrecks everything. Because basically, they have no sense of value. They have no sense of design. They can't even explain an Apple computer. They can't even explain why people would choose an elegant design over a functional design. Because Marx was basically this pragmatist who said it's just the raw materials times the labor is the value of something. Oh, yeah? Well, there's a lot of other measures of value than that, Carl. And so if you haven't read it, then at least watch yesterday's video, because I think it's a really good one. Okay, so let's go over here. Retailers offset shorter 2019 holiday season with early online deals. And there were a couple of stories around this shorter holiday season. So the first thing about doing this live stream is I didn't even notice. We've already had winter. I got up this morning. It's about 20 degrees out. We've got about 2 or 3 inches of snow on the ground. Everything's white. We're about a month ahead on winter. Just FYI for you global warmists out there. I believe it. I'm not denying global warming. I'm just saying it isn't hitting me. It's not hitting me today, or this year, or last year, or anytime soon. But in my early years, we had we skied before most of high school. We skied before Thanksgiving, so I think we're going to hit that easily because I don't see any thaw in the forecast at all between now and then. So if you think it's a shorter season, come to Wisconsin, and so there's a little earlier deals. So watch for the deals. One thing I've found is when you try to buy something, it's out of stock. So I think it's going to be a booming. This is my cognitive the confirmation bias convenience sample. Is I called up and tried to order some stuff and it was out of stock. So buy early, buy often, buy from your local catalog company. That's what we want you to do. See here. I got my Hammacher Schlemmer. I have to pick out my holiday gift. Hammacher Schlemmer, highly recommend it. They have a research institute where they actually vet the products, unlike Amazon and almost anyone else. So I recommend them. Okay, moving on. Amazon. Speaking of vetting the products in Amazon, Nike's pulling their merchandise off Amazon. I think that they, as a test pilot, they did prove they could sell shoes outside of stores. I buy all my shoes online, basically. And they're going to sell more directly to consumers. Which is a trend I saw coming in the 80s, but I was not as aware of the pressure that can be put on a manufacturer by retailers. But the worm is kind of turned on that one, and it's easier to shop online. But not only that, but now many brands are going away from marketplaces in favor of selling their own products direct to the consumer. I saw another link that said that promoted link that only 2.5% of Nike's views were from promoted links or from paid search. So they're finding out that they can do just fine with their homegrown product direct sales. Okay. A great campaign. We're going to go over to the other window and hit the button. And this is about Infolock. They had a $20,000 budget, and this is what they did with it.
I prefer it this way. You not knowing how one tiny file could lead you down such a precarious path. But I understand. It's only one file, and you have so many. Easier just to look the other way and pray. Maybe.
And I don't even know what that's about. To be honest, I just don't have any clue. But it's scary. That much I'll give it. Right? You got to admit it's scary. So how did it do? Okay, well, it did. This is the great part down here. They only had a $20,000 budget, and they did a media buy on top business leader domains, including Huffington Post, CNN, Business Insider, Yahoo, etc. The buy was $20,000. They were trying to get 2.5 million paid impressions. Okay, and they got 2.75 million impressions. But the best part was 0.5% click-through rate. I love this, 0.53%. Like they can get to 100th of a digit of a percent. And how much? What was their bounce rate? But anyway, a 71% view-through rate of a pre-roll video, 13,000 clicks. So out of that 2.5 million, I'm not going to run all the numbers. They actually got 352. This is the hard part about digital. This is great. This is the award winner. How much did they sell on Infolock? Okay. They drove 9,100 visits to Infolock. Doesn't talk about the bounce rate. Doesn't tell you what they sold. But they are the award winner. And that's what digital's about. So, core rights. Microsoft's going to extend core rights. We are strong supporters of California's new law. I've already spent too many shows trying to explain what a mess California's new law is. But the fundamental concepts are for people, the ribbon on the box is that people can control their data. Okay, and Microsoft's going to let everybody do that. Now, they did mention that, oh, by the way, they've already accepted the EU standards globally and maybe gone beyond that. So probably this is a nothing announcement. Okay, Microsoft already offers to comply with GDPR, maybe stronger than what's required by California. And there may be exceptions and all that. And so it's a big nothing burger, but I thought I'd mention it because basically regulations are coming to a theater near you, and it's a great question down here. It's a great question. Gives consumers the right to learn what personal information has been collected. Now there's a good one. Okay, so if you ship an item to your house, I have your street address. If I have your street address and your zip code, I have national census data, public information. Did you know that? Did I collect it? Well, I kind of acquired it. I mean, I bought a mapping software that included it. And you can have that information deleted, can you? I don't know. I didn't get it from you. I only got one thing from you. And that's kind of the point of that Infolock. I only got your zip code, let's just say. And now I know that you're in an upscale neighborhood, that you have a high school graduation rate in your neighborhood, that your median dwelling value is off the charts, and what percentage of people have a mortgage, what's your owner occupancy, what's your standard of mobile homes, percentage of housing units, how many people have solar heat, etc., etc., etc. Hundreds of variables on that stuff. Didn't get any of it from you, right? Interesting. Now, had another interesting thing happen. We changed routers. We went to business class in my home because I do business there, and we switched from a consumer router to a business router, unplugged them all for a while. They weren't connected. Then we switched back to a business router, and so we went to a consumer, to a business, to consumer, and back to business. 4 router changes, 4 times when it was all disabled, and we still had the same IP address. So I'm guessing that Spectrum is keeping your IP addresses, essentially giving fixed IP addresses, which would help us in knowing your street address, which I tried to do back in the 90s, and everybody was in Virginia at AOL. So, what data are we acquiring? Your IP address comes across the internet unless you use a VPN or a fake one, which I'm not opposed to, especially during the Olympics. It's a complicated world. Complicated world how you comply with all this stuff. And on that note, now that I've scared you, it's just one file. Have a great day. I'm John Miglosh.